We are in Hope Bay. It's a significant mining project 125 kilometers southwest of Cambridge Bay. Owned and led by Agnico Eagle, this project has just reached a new milestone, with the company approving the next phase of mine construction. It has taken a lot to get here. Welcome to the season finale of the Arctic Edge.
Long before there was a mine here, a little girl named Doris Kaluk walked this tundra with her stepfather. Now, neither could have known that decades later, her name would become a part of the landscape itself. But that story is not separate from this place. It's part of it. Long before mine plans were drawn, Inuit families were building a deep understanding of this land. Knowledge that continues to shape Nunavut today.
In the late 1950s, a small silver mine was operated north of here. But as the geology became more well-known, it was prospected. And it was first prospected by an Inuit prospector by the name of Noel Avadnuk. And he was trained to do prospecting by geologists that worked at this small silver mine. Doris was his daughter, and they named this area here after her.
We traveled to Hope Bay as Agnico Eagle marked the next phase of development, a $2.4 billion investment that signals not just scale, but long-term intent in the north.
We acknowledge that we remain guests to this land. We are committed to the responsible development of its resources and to the well-being of its people and its communities. We are looking forward to building Hope Bay together.
Projects like this are vital to whether people can build futures in the north, whether young people can stay close to home, and whether communities can grow stronger. Tell me what it's like with the advancing of the mine here, what it's like for, people who are from Cambridge Bay.
Really different here now. There was completely nothing here. No buildings, no vehicles, nothing here. There's no roads, nothing.
How has this project benefited the community?
The community is growing. It's growing. I'm glad there's work around at Hope Bay. It's good for the young people that are coming up here.
And how Agnico Eagle thinks about building its business is by building the communities around it as well.
It's not only about what comes out of the ground, but what stays behind. Skills, infrastructure, and the conditions for communities to grow on their own terms over time.
Agnico is now the largest mining company in Canada, the second largest gold producer in the world. That's who we are. But I think what's more important is how we've gotten here and how we think about things. We get to go into parts of the world to make a difference because generally mines happen to be in places where there's not a lot of other strong economic opportunities for the community. We tend to be that opportunity.
And that opportunity is already taking shape here. You see it in Quentin Crockatt's work as a core technician.
What exactly is that?
A core technician is someone that helps the GAOs to log the core. I would help move the core from outside into the core shack, into the bench room, and then from the bench room to the back where we have get it ready for the cutters.
Rock from deep in the ground passes through his hands, cut open and examined. And sometimes what's inside is gold.
We recently found a nice piece of gold in the core, and it looks very promising.
So what happens, and I'm going to get you to show what happens when they say, okay, they found gold?
Yes, we have a little bit of a celebration. We have a disco ball and some lights.
Okay, let's do it.
And we play some music.
How often does that celebration happen?
It has happened more and more recently. So that's a really good sign for us. It has happened twice in this past week now.
Friday morning, the team ran in and said, we got gold on the quick log table. And we came out and, this is what we ended up getting. So, which for me, this is some of the best gold in core that I've seen in Hope Bay since coming here. And I've been here for over 5 years now. Yeah.
Can I take this home?
No, you cannot.
Gold not just in the geological sense, but what it means for the people working here.
What does it mean having a mining project like this?
It means a lot. It gives us employment, a sense of responsibility, of course, and to be a part of the whole process makes a sense of pride and accomplishment working with this company. I'm able to buy an engagement ring for my fiance. I'm able to pay for a wedding. So I am just excited to be able to do that. So
I'm so excited for you.
And in that moment, the impact of this place becomes so real. And it's what brings the Minister of Energy and Natural Resources, Tim Hodgson, to Hope Bay.
When I hear about the potential of this mine, this potential to employ 2,000 people with great high-paying careers that you can raise a family on in the north, that's exciting.
This comes at a moment when global attention is rapidly shifting north. Russia, China, and renewed pressure from the United States under President Donald Trump.
Suddenly, Canada is paying much closer attention to the Arctic.
This mine will generate $2 billion of export revenues for Canada that makes us stronger, which makes us more sovereign, which makes us better able to resist the coercion that's going on in the world right now. Middle powers like Canada are caught in the middle of that. We've seen that with threats to our sovereignty. We've seen that with threats to Greenland sovereignty. Canada has to make sure that what happens is good for Nunavut and good for Canada.
Arctic sovereignty to us is really about presence, but the real presence is the communities and the people living in those communities. And it's how does industry, work with the communities to strengthen that presence, to make those communities better positioned to deliver opportunities for the young people, create opportunities to make families more prosperous. I think there's a real connection between how we've built this company over 70 years by focusing on community, focusing on doing things right. And when we see the opportunity set, particularly in Canada's far north, there's a really good match for our history. There's a really good match for the strength of our relationships and how we think about building our business.
Standing here, you quickly realize this isn't mining in the traditional sense. This is Arctic logistics on an entirely different scale.
We are also the largest builder of roads, which are really important, particularly as they are close to communities. At our facilities, we have airstrips. So as we think about the opportunities in front of the North, but also Canada, and putting in additional infrastructure to build out the economy of the North, a lot of these mining infrastructure investments will really sort of fit in nicely with new investments that the government's making.
The Prime Minister has announced over $12 billion worth of projects in the North, from Iqaluit over to Inuvik. We've talked about new housing infrastructure, new power infrastructure, new ports, new roads, hopefully making things more affordable up here for local Northerners. We've talked about significant new presence for the Canadian Armed Forces in the North, and we're going to see more industry like Agnico Eagle coming up here, and in partnership with the Inuit people developing the resources here for the benefit of Nunavut, but also Canadians.
The federal government has announced billions tied to Arctic defense and infrastructure. But Hope Bay offers something concrete, a real-world example of what sustained northern investment can actually look like.
Could this potentially, Hope Bay, be a blueprint for how Canada works in the north?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting to see the connectivity between the Inuit people, the government of Nunavut, the federal government, all coming together with industry to make something that's been a dream since the 1960s come to reality today.
What Minister Hodgson is describing is more than collaboration. It's how this region is being built now, through projects designed to serve multiple needs at once.
So when we think about multi-use, we also think about repurposing. I think it's important to get the infrastructure properly built in the right location, because if you do that, then they'll carry on for generations, and they'll be well matched to additional investments that we're going to see coming in Canada's far north.
For Sean Boyd, building multi-use infrastructure starts in the planning.
What is the strategy? You know, how should we be communicating the plans that each of us have, whether it's industry, whether it's the communities, whether it's the government? We should be communicating what those strategies and plans and visions are, because then we can see commonality.
That conversation was happening in Hope Bay as Nunavut Member of Parliament Lori Idlout addressed the crowd.
Hope Bay represents the opportunity for balance between resource extraction and meeting the immediate needs of Nunavut. It's great to see the Premier of Nunavut John Main here, with the ministers here as well, with officials from NTI, Adam Itochak. It's good to see you, and to see Kitikmeot Inuit Association and so many partners, as well as the workers here.
In the same room, there are workers, like Jonny Toft, who've been part of this place for years.
I began in the winter of 2007-08, and I've been here continuously since then.
The closest community is 125 kilometers away?
Right, yeah.
What does a place like this do for the community, even that far away? Like, what do you see?
I see them as inextricably linked, you know? We may be, so many kilometers away, but I feel, for all intents and purposes, that they're just over the next hill, because it's imbued in our culture, the northern culture, the northern spirit, and there's so many communities across the north that comprise a significant portion of our population, and that motivates me hugely to remain here as a team member.
Where are you originally from?
Edmonton originally.
Oh, you're from Edmonton?
I am indeed, yes.
And what drew you north?
Adventure. Frankly, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the rare ecology and the challenge. I think anyone who's ever spent time in the Arctic never came here for an easy ride, per se, from the explorer days onwards. And it was a component of that attracted me very much so.
The Arctic is never simple, but here, work happens together.
What we wanted to do with Hope Bay is send a message. We wanted to send a message to the rest of Canada that Hope Bay can be a template of cooperation, a template of vision, a template of initiative to make big things happen, as we say. How do we do more than just build a mine? Because in a sense, when we're building mines, we're also building communities, and it's not really Agnico, it's our partners working in communities that is really going to make that happen and really deliver effective sovereignty for the North and for Canada. Food security, housing, and education are the pillars for strong communities, and we're happy to be helping and partnering with our partners up in the North to provide those opportunities.
And maybe that's what Hope Bay ultimately represents. Not just gold, a blueprint for Canada in the Arctic.
These are real, tangible results, benefits that are flowing from the mining sector in Nunavut. When you have one Nunavut or one Inuk who becomes employed, that creates a ripple effect in their home community. Those paychecks that they're bringing home benefit their children, their family, their entire community. The gold miners who are working at Meadowbank, who are working at Meladine, or who will be working here at Hope Bay, they feed their families, they provide shelter, they can afford to purchase hunting equipment and practice their traditional pursuits. What do you need to take your family out fishing in Nunavut? Snowmobile, you need a sled, you need a tent, you need food, you need sleeping bags. That stuff doesn't pay for itself. That stuff is expensive. So there are barriers. And we want Nunavut to have the means to have the paychecks, to have the education that allows them to enjoy, to go out. And far too many Nunavut right now do not have the means.
And that connection to the land is something people here live every day.
Here in Cambridge Bay, we're 125 kilometers away from Hope Bay. And it is in the hunting area of harvesters here. I would not want to live anywhere else. If I'm not working, I'll try my best to go out on the land. It's a very important part of my life to enjoy the land up here. It has a lot to offer. The thing I'm really excited about is Agnico's a generational miner. They go into an area when they want to operate for a long time. And I just want to point out that feeling of security, knowing that Hope Bay is being operated by that kind of a company, that long-term relationship and that long-term opportunity. That's what Agnico brings to the table in my mind, compared to what we've seen before in our region. The things that are being set up is to our benefit. We're mining in Hope Bay on Inuit-owned land. That was the whole idea, is that we could benefit in many ways from it. So the future is now.
It just brings a certain amount of pride that I know that it's important to them that we're also protecting the land, but we're also providing a resource, right? That will eventually bring the economy forward, that within my community, within this region, within this territory as well. I was told growing up that if you make any decisions, you have to think about 7 generations ahead of you, so that any decisions you make, it will impact the next generation and the next generation.
Decades ago, children walked here looking for rocks. Today, the same ground connects everyone who's a part of this place. Hope Bay stands as one of the most ambitious mining projects in the Canadian Arctic. And what's being built here will shape the next generation.
There's a kid who's in school right now, and someday they're going to work here. They're going to work here. Maybe they're going to be a engineer. Maybe they'll be a blaster. Maybe they'll be an environmental scientist. But that kid, that's why we're all here today. And that's why we're excited. Because that child will have a career, will be able to support their family, will be able to build a home, and build Nunavut stronger, build the country stronger. The footprint of Agnico Eagle goes well off the mine site. It goes right into our communities. Things like the Breakfast Club of Canada partnership, food security, investments into training and education, into housing. Minister Cecile Lyle, I believe, should take the credit in terms of continuing this partnership with Agnico Eagle on housing. As a government, we're looking for more ways to partner. We're looking for more ways to benefit Nunavut. We can't do it alone. We need each other. Looking at the future of Nunavut, when we have strong partners from the private sector and Agnico Eagle and the federal government, Inuit organizations, there's nothing we can't do together. So let's get to work. Matna.
I'm Hannah Thibedeau. Thank you for joining us for Season 2 of The Arctic Edge.